Observation 1. Inherency. The United States and Mexico have a joint interest in reducing the power of drug cartels. Subpoint A. The Merida Initiative is a significant example of bilateral engagement. Silver, 2011. The Merida Initiative marked a change in the nature and extent of collaboration with Mexico on security and law enforcement issues. As part of this shift, it led to a significant reframing and reorganization of much of our bilateral engagement with Mexico. The Merida Initiative is now framed around 4 pillars. 1. Disrupting organized criminal groups. 2. Institutionalizing reforms to sustain rule of law and respect for human rights. 3. Creating a 21st century border. And 4. Building strong and resilient communities. These 4 pillars guide much of the overall U.S.-Mexico interaction. The DHS is engaged to various degrees in all 4 of the Merida Initiative pillars. Subpoint B. The funding levels in the Merida Initiative are inadequate. Subpoint 1. Mexico is an afterthought. O'Neill, 2011. Despite its many laudable elements, the Merida Initiative does not go far enough or fast enough. For one thing, it is just too small. The current budget for Plan Colombia is twice as large as Mexico's 2009 allotment, and that is for a country that does not share a border with the United States. And even the support for Plan Colombia pales next to the billions of dollars U.S. drug consumers supplied to Mexico's enemies in this confrontation. Compared to other U.S. national security threats, Mexico remains an afterthought. Subpoint 2. Spending on Merida paled in comparison. Kinsley, 2011. Plan Merida as a response to the crisis that Mexico is facing is anemic at best. As you know, it calls for approximately $1.4 billion over the course of 3 years. That is less than we presently spend in Afghanistan on any given week. If we want Mexico to succeed, we will need to do more, and it is in our national interest that we do so. Observation 2. Harms. Drug cartel violence is significantly harmful. Subpoint A. Drug cartels are killing thousands of civilians. Brown, 2011. Mexico far exceeds the epidemic threshold, reporting over 6,000 deaths in 2008, over 6,500 in 2009, and over 11,200 in 2010, and with drug-related violence surpassing conflict-caused death in both Afghanistan and in Iraq. Subpoint B. Drug cartel violence represents a significant threat to the United States. McCall, 2011. A very recent report from the Department of Justice reveals that drug cartels operate in more than 1,000 cities across the United States. 1,000 cities. They control distribution of the most heroin, marijuana, methamphetamines, and other narcotics. These terrorists, both in Mexico and the United States, are a threat to national security and should be treated as such. Therefore, we present the following plan. The United States federal government will substantially increase its economic engagement towards Mexico by doubling its funding of the Merida Initiative to $2.8 billion, while all of the additional funding being devoted to Plan 4, building strong and resilient communities. Specifically, the U.S. government will provide economic assistance to the Mexican government for replicating in other regions the Todos Somos Juarez program, which was used successfully in Ciudad Juarez. Funding will be diverted from the military drawdown in Afghanistan. Observation 3. Solvency. Substantially increasing economic engagement offers a superior approach to ending cartel violence. Subpoint A. The Todos Somos Juarez program of economic engagement is an alternative to a military response to drug cartel violence. Selke, 2013. In January 2010, in response to a violent massacre of 15 youth with no apparent connection to organized crime in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, the Mexican government began to prioritize crime prevention and community engagement. Responding to criticisms of its military-led strategy for the city, federal officials worked with local authorities and civic leaders to establish 6 task forces to plan and oversee a strategy for reducing criminality, tackling social problems, and improving citizen and government relations. The strategy, aptly titled Todos Somos Juarez, or We Are All Juarez, was launched in February 2010 and has involved close to $400 million in federal investments in the city. Subpoint B. Economic engagement has demonstrated its potential to reduce drug cartel violence. Carpenter, 2012. As Enrique Peña Nieto takes the reins as Mexico's president, optimists in the war on drugs argue that the worst is over, regarding the violence that has convulsed his country over the past 6 years and left at least 6,000 dead. The centerpiece of that argument is the improved situation in Ciudad Juarez, directly across the border from El Paso. For several years, Juarez has been the epicenter of fighting between drug cartels, as well as between the cartels and the Mexican government. But in the first 10 months of 2012, homicides and kidnappings in the city dropped by more than 60%. Reuters correspondents Dave Graham and Julian Cardona know that Mayor Hector Margua is bubbling with optimism. It is a completely different city now, Margua stated. I am now open for cross-examination and further points of clarification.